this caps is another important feature of the traditional dress in India. For example, the Punjabis actually have this habit of putting a turban around the head, right? And there is another thing. The people in Gujarat mostly wear a cap. The people in Gujarat usually wear a cap, which is mostly of a cotton khadi kind of a thing, and that is known as the Gandhi cap. Okay, so Gandhi cap is a small cap kind of a thing that the people, especially from Gujarat. So Gandhiji was born there in Gujarat. Yes. So the people in Gujarat usually wear this kind of a small cap, usually white in color, and that is known as a Gandhi cap. Now, fur caps are famous in Kashmir, especially for kids. It's very cold over there, and the mufflers and all those kinds of things won't be that useful when it comes to small kids because it depends whether they keep it or not. But when they are introduced to, stylish fur-made caps, people definitely love it. Okay, so they will be much interested to put these caps on, and that is very important because the children had to get protected from the cold over there, right? Then Himachal Pradesh is the topmost stage in India, especially in cap making. Okay, they make excellent, extraordinary, smooth, well-finished woolen caps, but nobody in the world can identify them as the woolen caps. Okay, such industry perfected caps are produced by the state of Himachal Pradesh. So in most of the regions, these caps are actually a part of their traditional dress. We have already seen the HICON in Rajasthan is a traditional cap kind of a wear as far as the people of Rajasthan is concerned. The turban is very important for the Punjabis, the people of Punjab, isn't it? And the people in Himachal Pradesh also wear this fur-made cap. Then Kashmiris usually prefer woolen caps a lot. So in many states, especially in the north, where there are more chances to be cold over there, has this a cap as one of the most important part of their dress. Okay, so these are the common kinds of dress that we wear or known as a traditional dress. But nowadays we have got a large number of other kinds of dress also, like jeans pants are there, jeans t-shirts, then cotton trousers, right? So these are some of these dress which are not our traditional dress, but something we have adopted. Okay, pants, the trouser itself is an adoption basically by the time when the British people came over to India. Okay, and most often we have seen as delegates speaking in suits, ties and all. So there's a trousers, suits, ties, all these are actually something that we have copied from the West and not something that we have over here now. Okay, now, so these are about the clothes that we wear in a traditional manner. And we often prefer traditional clothes when we have festivals and celebrations. Celebrations, again, we may go a bit, non-traditional, but during festivals, we mostly prefer traditional dress, isn't it? Yes. There is another kind of a dress which is called the uniforms. So what is the speciality of the uniforms? So uniforms are actually dress that are worn by people who follow a particular profession or the students who study in a particular school. You know that, isn't it? Yes. All the students in your school, right from LKG till 10th class, will have the same dress, isn't it? The same design, only the size differs. Okay. So wherever and whenever you meet a student in the same dress, you can identify, oh, this brother or sister is studying in our school. There will be another school in the nearby area and they will definitely have a different uniform. It won't be the same uniform, isn't it? Yes. So every school has a different uniform. In the same way, the people who follow a particular profession will always have a particular uniform. For example, when we go to hospitals, we can come across people like doctors there, isn't it? So how can we identify the person who is coming against us as a doctor or not? Yes, doctors always wear a white coat, isn't it? Above the dress that they wear, they always have a white coat which will have two long pockets on the sides in which they keep the stats or the thermometer or some other kinds of things over there. Right? So just by looking at that coat, we can understand, okay, he is a doctor. Because in the same hospital, we will come across another person called a nurse. So how can you identify a nurse? Yeah, they will be usually wearing long white coats or white saris, isn't it? Yes. So once when we step onto a hospital, we can easily identify who is a doctor and who is a nurse just by looking at their dress. Right? Now, army people, soldiers, they have different uniforms. Right? So the army has a different uniform from that of Navy and they have an entirely different uniform from that of Air Force. Okay? So there is a difference. Police people, policemen, we can identify them based on their uniform, isn't it? Yes, they always wear a khaki dress. But a driver also wear a khaki dress. A postman also wear a khaki dress. And a firefighter, a fireman also wear a khaki dress. Then how is it possible for us to understand who is a policeman, who is a postman, who is a driver and who is a fireman? Yes, we can easily understand that. Right? So a policeman has got a khaki dress, but the design of the pockets are different. There will be small flaps over here with some stars on that. They will have a different kind of a cap and they will have a brown shoe also. So it's not just the dress that what make him a policeman. Okay, a uniform. There are some other features also. We need to consider all the features in that. Okay, we need to consider all the features. So if you keep a policeman, a postman, a driver and a fireman in a line, we can easily identify because they have different distinct features, right? And a driver, he may not wear a khaki colored trouser, but he wears only a shirt. A postman, yes, he has a khaki colored shirt and trousers and a bag also in which he carry all these letters. Right? So in the same way, even though the color of the dress is same, there are still so many differences in that with which we can easily identify who is what. Clear? So, uniforms are the dress which are used by people who do specific jobs. All the people who do that particular job will have the same uniforms, so that it helps us to identify them easily. Students who study in the schools are also supposed to have a typical dress which can make them different from the other people, and they also wear uniforms. And when there is a festival or a function or a celebration like a birthday or a marriage or something like that, then we will go for another kind of dress which is a bright, colorful and yes, stylish. Isn't it? It's during the festival time, it's during the celebrations or some occasions like a marriage or a birthday party or so, we go for a bright, colorful and a stylish dress. Most often we will go for a bit costlier dress also at that time. Isn't it? We'll go for some stylish, costlier dress which can match well with the kind of ornaments that we have. Or we will have some add-on things like jewelry, like a gold or a silver or a diamonds or a platinum. Okay, so these kinds of things which you already have should have to match with the dress that we wear. Okay, so uniforms are used by students who go to schools and the people who particularly do a particular profession, right? Then bright, colorful, stylish, costly dress are used during festival seasons, festivals or occasions of celebrations or parties and all. Clear? Okay. Now, where do we get these clothes from? So, we know there are two different kinds of sources as far as the clothes are concerned, or the raw material that we use to make these clothes are collected from the two sources. One is a natural source, second is a synthetic, means artificial. Okay, so out of the total kinds of fiber means a raw material which is woven into making clothes, right? So out of the total kinds of fibers that are available, we can divide them into two, like a natural and artificial. Natural are the things that we get from the nature. For example, cotton, right? So where do we get cotton from? Yes, we get the cotton from the flowers of a cotton plant, isn't it? These flowers are carefully plucked out, processed to make a cotton fiber. Wool, we get the wool from a sheep. Yeah, the hair is sheared, cleared, processed and made a woolen threads out of it. Silk, yeah, we know we get the silk from the silkworm. The cocoon is boiled, processed and made the silk threads out of it. Isn't it? Okay. So, there is one more thing called the jute. Gunny bags are there, no? Gunny bags. So, gunny bags are actually made of this thing called a jute. It's also the stem of a plant called a jute plant. It's a process to make that. It's a still process. We can make a fine threads out of jute and we make a clothes even out of a jute threads, right? So, cotton, wool, silk, jute, etc. are the things that we get from the nature which we process and make fine threads with which we make clothes, right? So, they are so known as a natural clothing material. But, okay, but we have artificial fiber also. When cotton, wool, silk, jute, etc. are called as a natural fiber, we have some artificial fiber also. For example, we call polyester or rayon, nylon. Okay, so these kinds of clothing material are not natural, but they are made through some chemical processing, and that is why they are called a synthetic fiber or a artificial fiber. So, synthetic or artificial fibers are man-made fiber. They are not naturally produced by any cost. Okay, but both these are extensively used in cloth making, and rayon and nylon fiber is too much used in the fashion industry also. Okay, so we have clothes made up of cotton, wool, silk, jute, rayon, nylon, etc. Right? So there are two major kinds of fiber. One is called a natural fiber and the other is called a traditional fiber. Natural fiber is a fiber like cotton, wool, silk, jute, etc. And artificial fiber are products like rayon, nylon, polyester, etc. So, fiber like cotton, wool, silk, jute, etc. are naturally produced, and so they are known as natural fibers, whereas rayon, nylon, polyester, etc. are synthetically produced, chemically produced, artificially produced, and they are known as synthetic fibers. Right? So you can read this lesson from the attachment, the PDF which is attached along with this video link. Okay? So you can download it. If you want, you can make a printout of it and you can read it also. That's end of the lesson part here, and now it's a time for us to go and do something with the activities, right?